So today we are going to make a video on this large machine, SEWPRO 204-30, showing basic maintenance and how to service machine, how to thread it. So we'll start here on the bottom shaft, and basically every few months you need to grease this area. There's a gear and a half a moon gear. You just take some grease and put it in this area. So there's a right in here, and then just keep it greased up. So we'll move over to the left and go to the shuttle area, and here here we have a shuttle hook, and it's easy to take apart. You have to turn a certain way so to get it out. Basically, you have to turn and until it will let you do that. A little tricky. So, and then you take the shuttle out. And this area here, the race, sometimes you get thread pieces. It needs to be, you can blow it with the air gun, but not always get everything. So maybe every 6 months or so, you should take it apart and basically take a tiny screwdriver and clean this area pretty good, clean it up, and then you put everything back. Before we do that, I'll show you how the shuttle hook, once in there, how you put the bobbin in. Take bobbin this way, actually this way, comes off this way, and you pull it under this spring and close it. So that's and then a lot of times people don't know there's this screw here, a little tiny screw. If you need to adjust tension, you loosen this screw a little bit. This screw you tighten in, adjusting tension for desired tension, and then you retighten the screw slightly again so it holds it from losing its tension. So never adjust it. First you loosen this one, adjust, and tighten this again. Never force anything. Everything has to go, it comes out easy, it goes back in. It goes with this notch inside, so you know. And again, I have to kind of turn so to the point where it lets me put back in, because of the feed dog bar kind of gets in the way. So I turn it to the point where it allowed me to go back in. Then you line this thing up, and there's a little trick to this. You push it up and push it in, and then it'll close. You go up, in, and close. Because if you try to force it, it sometimes won't go in. So again, you go push it up and in. See, right now, if I did not do it right, and see, it takes a little practice. So up, in, and then you close it. So now I'm gonna set machine back, and we'll go the next step. We'll go in the back. There's a cam in here. It's hard to see, but there's a roller and runs inside of the cam. There's a little race for the cam that drives foot up and down. So as you can see, there's grease. You should get some grease in that cam. Again, every about 6 months or so. Make sure, because if you don't get it, it'll wear out eventually. It'll get noisy. So all these red marks here is their oiling marks. You oil machine daily. I recommend to do it every morning before you start. You just put a drop or two, all these spots, and then you set for a day. So, and now we're gonna do threading part. So it is important to make sure that machine is threaded. So if you start here, very important, it's very simple, but you put the spool here through the hole and make sure that bar pretty much in the center of the spool. Sometimes people have it like this and then it's dragging and causing problem. So always make sure. It's a very simple thing, common sense, but a lot of times people miss it. So you come out here through this guide, and from here I'll restart threading again so you can see step by step. So here's the one loop here. You come in here, go through the tension. You basically put right between these two discs. Then you go through another guide, and here there's a little roller there. So you make a full loop. If you go like this, it's half, but you gotta go full loop and come over like this. So I'm gonna do it again so you see it again. I'm going full loop and over and go through this you have to go through the take-up spring. Then you have to turn the machine. It's kind of hard to see, but so your take-up lever goes down in here. It's kind of right in here through the take-up. It's very important. Sometimes people miss, machine will never sew right. So you turn the machine so that take-up goes all the way down. That take-up all the way down. That way we'll come out the other side. Make sure nothing gets crossed anywhere, and then you drop the thread through this tube here, and it'll come out on the bottom near the needle bar. Basically push that thread through and we see that's coming out. So you get on the left side of the needle bar, and there's a place on a needle bar on the left side that you go through right there, so that hole. So I just have to get back. So right through that hole on the needle bar, and on the needle you thread it left to right, but you have to notice that the needle has to be installed properly. There's a flat part on the needle goes towards inside of the machine, and a long groove goes on the left. So and you kind of square the hole parallel to the machine. And I always like to have my thread through the foot hole, so that it's much easier to sew. I just want to get a little more slack. So, and then we'll always fish that bottom thread out. You just go basically let one revolution and you got both of them in. So that's how for quick to check timing if you ever need to. So just give you some little reference, just so you can see here this spot. And as you can see that when shuttle on the back side, when it reaches all the way forward, the shuttle drive and releases thread off the hook, it's basically just about in the middle of this open slot, a little bit forward. It basically gives you a little reference for if your timing is correct or not. So, and then when you look at it, when it picks up off the needle, if you can see the hook and the needle meets, you should be picking up about 1/8 of an inch above the thread hole. So you can see in that area. So you right underneath. So, and then basically you just oil whole machine. But again, this middle wheel is basically helps you. It's kind of long machine, and you need to be able to, so you press it in, hold it, and then you can turn basically for threading or positioning your needle where you need to, and then you should basically push it back. It has some springs, but it's pretty heavy. So, or if you can reach over to here, you can do it. But this middle wheel, basically purpose of it, if your hands are not reaching over to the, and you're sitting more to the left, you can basically press it in, make sure it engages in, and then you can turn it. And while you turn it, you should keep pressing it in because there's gears engaging, and then it releases, and then when that's the way you do it. So that's a basic maintenance. All these red spots, and won't hurt, maybe once every 6 months. And there's a spot right here, you oil it. Won't hurt to actually open this plate and maybe oil all the joints, because normally it actually oil runs through, and you can put some little oil on the bar because it's moving up and down. And also I sometimes put oil through the hole here, so it basically oils the shuttle race there. There's oil here and there. It's normally runs some oil in there, but to make sure it gets oiled well, I still put some oil through the hole. And that's how you maintain machine. This is a bobbin winder. You put thread. I want to just show how you set up the bobbin winder. Basically, you come in here from this side. Come out in the same hole. In and out here. And if you're bobbin, then you put bobbin, and you put it through the hole in the bobbin, and then kick it in. Let me quickly get the bobbin here. So you take the bobbin like this. Once it comes out there, you stick it thread through the hole, and there's a little pin there. You basically line it up, and it pinches it some, and you lay it on the top. And as the machine runs, it'll start winding. If you by any reason winding too much on this side or to that side, this here, if you need to be more on that side, you basically move the whole tension bracket a little bit in or out, and then it'll even it. You'll get nice and even winding on both ends. That's all basically you need to know about operating machine.